आज हम बड़ौदा के एक बहुत ही श्रेष्ठ व्यक्ति के साथ और उनके व्यक्तित्व का परिचय आज हम करने वाले हैं। हमारी जो ग्रोथ कम्युनिटी है, जो वेल्थ सेक्टर में आगे बढ़ना चाहती है, जो आजकल हम मनी को एक कंफर्ट जोन में कंफर्ट वैल्यू की तरह देख रहे हैं, वो वेल्थ सिर्फ कंफर्ट देने वाला नहीं है। दैट इज अ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, इट इज अ डिसिप्लिन, एंड व्हेन यू फ्लो विद द डिसिप्लिन ऑफ वेल्थ, you definitely can become not only successful but a legacy creator to our society, to our nation. और हम जानते हैं कि जैन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स ने भारत के प्रोग्रेस में बहुत ही ज़्यादा कंट्रीब्यूशन दिया है। इसी तरह एक बहुत ही ज़्यादा कंट्रीब्यूशन करने वाले हमारे साथ हैं दीपक भाई मेहता। जय
नमस्कार जी।
जिनेन्द्र,
जय
नमस्कार।
जिनेन्द्र।
आज हमारी जो कम्युनिटी है, टीनेजर्स हैं, यंगस्टर्स हैं, उनको बहुत सारे कन्फ्यूजन्स हैं। मेहनत बहुत करनी है, धगस, होश, जुनून बहुत ज़्यादा है, पर डायरेक्शन नहीं मिल रहा है। बहुत सारे यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं, 35 साल के, 40 साल के, जिन्होंने कमाया हुआ है, पर कहाँ पे इन्वेस्ट कर रहे, दे आर फीलिंग वेरी इनसिक्योर्ड। बहुत ही ज़्यादा इनसिक्योरिटी आ चुकी है कि कौन से डायरेक्शन में जाए, कौन से डायरेक्शन में ना जाए, क्योंकि देयर आर नो प्लेटफॉर्म्स एज सच जहाँ पे वो विश्वास रखें। आजकल बहुत सारे इन्फ्लुएंसर्स हैं जो बातें तो करते हैं, पर फिर बाद में वो ब्रांडिंग में चले जाते, लोगों के पास से पैसा कमाने के लिए, ब्रांड्स कमाने के लिए कुछ भी वो लोग डिप्लॉय कर देते, कुछ भी दिखा देते हैं। पर दे वांटेड अ ट्रस्टेड प्लेटफॉर्म, एंड वी आर बिल्डिंग अ ट्रस्टेड प्लेटफॉर्म on which people come and share their real experiences, and people can get the real ideas in their life selflessly. तो वैसे भी हमारे जैनों में ये सेल्फलेस कैरेक्टर बिल्डिंग बहुत ही एक्सट्रीम पीक पे है, लिटरेसी रेट पीक पे है, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, रिस्क फैक्टर, लोगों के लिए हॉस्पिटैलिटी, दया भावना, सबसे ज़्यादा गौशाला वगैरह बांधना, एंड सो मेनी थिंग्स ऑफ सेवा, एंड विदाउट अप्रोचिंग एनीबडी एल्स हम खुद ही सेल्फ सस्टेनेबल इकोनॉमी क्रिएट कर रहे हैं। इसके आप भी एक बहुत बड़े पार्ट हो। तो दीपक भाई, लेट अस स्टार्ट कि आपके मन में जो ये एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप है, वो बचपन से ही वो आप में आई, या फिर किसी और चीज़ को देख कर के आपको ये मन में हुआ कि हमें ये करना चाहिए?
Thank you, Guruji. I think one of the things that certainly influenced me was my father.
राइट।
And going a little bit about his history, he came from a small town called Amreli in Saurashtra. And at the age of 10, his father expired because of TB. And those were very, very struggling years for him and the family because they could hardly take care of 2 meals. During these times, there was a situation when if he would be playing with some children in the neighborhood, the mothers would take those children back to their home. Don't play with this child, saying that, the child rakhdu che,
हाँ, राइट।
that he has nothing else to do. And when he would see all these other children going, the only thought in his mind was, you know what? I'm poor and therefore they are taking their children away. One day I want to become rich,
ग्रेट।
right? He did not even know what does becoming rich mean, but there was this thought that I want to prove myself to do something different. Years later, when the year his father died, they had an incident where they were to, after 13 days, you call all the guests, uh, and they had very, very little money to be able to take care of the people who would come for food during the uh, ceremony. And the next month, he was not able to pay his fees. The principal, not knowing the background, just called him and asked him that, or instead of asking him, he just gave a big tight slap that you are not paying your fees on time, you better learn a lesson. And then he asked him, "So why did you not pay the fees?" And he said, "Sir, my father expired and we didn't have enough money for taking care of the visitors, but I will certainly pay in the next month." So the principal was moved. He took 2 rupees from his pocket, gave it to him, and said, "You first go and pay fees now." So even at this age, the second question my father asked was, "Sir, can I do one thing? In the recess, can I sell nibs of pen? Because my elder brother is working in Bombay. He will send me the nib, and if I sell it to friends, maybe I'll make the money and I will pay the fees." And so he did that for a few months. Over a period, of course, it was not
I'm getting
necessary.
goosebumps.
Yes,
What an inspiring
yes,
story. What an
yes.
inspiring story.
And just to conclude it, many decades later, when he became successful, he started a company called Deepak Nitrite. And here he is sitting in his Bombay chambers when his secretary comes and says that there are some people who have come from Amreli and they want to meet. He said, "Who are they?" "I don't know. They say they are starting a school and they're meeting all well known industrialists, so they've come to meet you." He said, "Have I given an appointment?" He said, "No." I said, "Okay, anyway, now that they've come, let them in." And they are all sitting in the boardroom, and then my father goes and quickly recognizes that half of them were his own teachers.
Great.
But he had grown up, so of course nobody could recognize him. And at the end of the day, they said, "We were teachers of this school, Forward School. We have started a new school, and it's a school run by teachers. And we are going around Bombay to meet industry people who have come from Saurashtra to donate." So my father asked, "So what is it that you're looking for?" He said, "Our budget is about 50 lakhs, so 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, anything that you can." And my father said, "Okay, this should be your last stop. Whatever is the gap, I will be contributing that."
Great. Great.
And they said, "That is really great." And then my father said, "But do you know who I am?" And then he narrated that there was a time when my fees were paid by the principal. And today I'm here. This is the least I can do for the school. So these have been some of the experiences that he would share that has actually uh, molded us to look at things differently, to look at entrepreneurship not necessarily from a way of just making money, but more from a way of proving yourself, more from a way of making a difference. And every time that one does that, one gets actually even more inspired. So I'm, I would say, grateful to have been born in such a family, have gone through these experiences. And then when life gave us our opportunity, we would always remember to uh, work to create an opportunity to prove ourselves, to make a difference. I don't think we ever really thought I want to be wealthy or be rich. My father did think that he wants to be rich, but more to prove
Prove
himself that
himself.
it is nice to be rich and a good human being.
Yes. His worthiness, he wanted to prove his worthiness.
Yes. So we all grew up in this atmosphere. In earlier days, my father was into trading. We used to be doing a typical puja every Diwali. And in 1970, we created a public company called Deepak Nitrite. That's the day he said, from today onwards, you're going to be working like a trustee. You're not an owner.
Great.
And therefore, even the last of that desire to create personal wealth was put on the side. And then the idea was, okay, how do I prove that whatever I'm doing can make a big difference to the society? And that's how
The journey
the
started.
journey started for us.
Superb, superb. Like we did the previous 4 podcasts, this common point was found everywhere. We are the trustee of the wealth, not the owner of the wealth. And it was all their own efforts which they gave for the society. They used their own potential in the progress of the nation, and in turn, whatever they achieved, that was only their own satisfaction. That was the real wealth. When you want to become a wealthy person and you think of only personal wealth, you can never become that, because wealth cannot be owned by anyone. Wealth can only be channelized by anyone. And when you become the real channel, wealth is yours. And this is what I can see over here.
So I would say that wealth is a wealth or richness is a means and it's not an end,
Yes,
right? The end is happiness.
yes.
If wealth cannot bring happiness, it's worthless. And in the pursuit of, as long as you are pursuing those things that give you happy, and in the process you make wealth, it stays for long. But the moment you concentrate on just being wealthy, I would feel that you may lose your direction, and even if you have wealth, you may lose the happiness. And then, what is wealth for? So, the most important thing is to choose to prioritize happiness and use wealth as a means to the happiness.
Wealth is only a tool,
Is a tool.
is a tool to reach some destination.
Yes.
So when your destination is clear and when your tool is also very pure, you can achieve whatever you want in your life.
Yes.
This is what you are saying.
Yes.
This the community knows to understand, wants to understand. Let's move to crucial points. One of the crucial points was that whenever anybody wants to start entrepreneurship, they need resources. And most of the modern entrepreneurs, they are going for crowdfunding, they are going for to get money from money lenders, and they are failing actually. And what their belief system is that if you have money, then only if you have proper resources, then only you can start entrepreneurship. So actually, people are prioritizing funds in the name of wealth, and within 2 3 years we see most of the modern entrepreneurs are failing. Today, I want my community to understand resources come afterwards. First what comes is your value creation, जिसको हम अर्थ कहते हैं, धर्म अर्थ काम मोक्ष. Earth is wealth, but earth is actually giving meaning to your wealth. Earth is actually giving direction to your wealth. So if you don't have value creation, how will you value the resources? So I want you to share your experience, how you created that value creation, how you, before getting the wealth or resources, how you skilled yourself.
So, in our terms, we look at this as what is the sense of purpose in life. At the end of the day, even in business, one looks at whatever you are trying to do, how does it bring about a change in the way things are happening? If you are going to do the same thing as somebody else is doing, then the chance of making money is going to be limited. And therefore, you have to constantly think, okay, what is the gap that I want to fulfill? And after thinking about the gap, more importantly, okay, how will it make a difference in the life of others so that you can make money? A lot of times, I do find youth today uh, wanting to be the person where they are driven by a fresh new idea and start running with the idea. And I would like to ask them to think that please put in some more thoughts to understand how will it change the lives of the marketplace, of the people whom you wish to serve. What is the impact, the difference that is going to make in their lives? Calculate that and then work out your returns. Therefore, why should you be successful? Just because you have a new idea, that doesn't mean that you are going, any good new idea is going to be succeeding. The other myth that is generally there in today's days, I would say it's a myth because we come from more of brick and mortar business. That if you have an idea, just spend and overspend till the time the idea really gathers that momentum. Uh, Maybe once in a blue moon, such ideas do succeed. But more often than not, we have found that every idea needs to be backed up by sound principles of ensuring return on investment is coming in, and constantly working to see if there is a need to change course or fine tune as you move forward and as you get feedback from the marketplace as to how your businesses are moving. Constantly looking at feedback and then changing makes a huge difference to your success. This is what life has taught me, not only in business, but we also did a lot of social work. And there too, we would, uh, I would want to see that whatever we are doing, to constantly invest into 5% of my money into getting to do research on understanding what is the impact that my effort has created. And based on that learning, I would try to change my approach, tweak my efforts, because finally the impact is the most important thing. A lot of times when we start running with the idea, we forget looking at the impact. So that makes a big difference.
Great. Very, it was really something with a very deep thought that all the myths and all the confusions are created by us only. Nobody gives us those confusions. It is that our inner unclarity which gives us confusion. And we ourselves have to break those myths. If we don't break those myths, then we will be off nowhere. Great. So, there is one thing like in Jainism, there are 7 layers of sampada. We name one thing as sampatti, means your wealth, and that meaningful wealth is sampada. What we have to create actually, and what Jains are doing in India, they are creating meaningful wealth, not just wealth. It is a meaningful wealth. Everybody has their purpose and direction. It has 7 layers. First layer is about value creation. Second layer is value against energy. What energy you are giving and what value you are creating, what value you are getting it exchanged. So that is normally the trade, the vyapar. And then comes protection. How to protect your money. Protecting money is actually again reinvesting. Only money can protect money. Nobody else is going to protect money. So again, reinvesting in things what could give them returns. And there are total 7 layers. The seventh one is the dan, the contribution. We are fulfilling all the 7 layers. Every Jain is fulfilling all the 7 layers in their life. So one layer, what actually I wanted to discuss with you was, one is a simple growth. People normally grow, like the weeds are also grown on the roadsides. And one is the structured growth, which actually gives you the exponential growth, the structured growth. Like we see there are many plants, there are cages around them, and those plants grow structurally. What structure have you followed? What is that exact structure, that exact environment, the exact principles, the exact thought process, like about consistency about thinking about one product, about thinking about selling those products to finding those customers? What was the actual structured layered growth what you have experienced?
Perhaps the first success could be out of randomly trying different ideas and maybe succeeding. After that, when you want to build success upon success, it does come from getting to become more and more structured in the way you look at opportunities. And every time you look at an opportunity and you are working to see, does two and two make five? The more you think about this, the more you get into a much more structured growth, because you want to link up with what you have become good at to do more of the same, or to do something around it. So initially, as I said, one may look at different, extremely different opportunities, but finally, in the long term, uh, what people say in the West, stick to your knitting, be focused on what you are doing, and be consistent. These things really matter when one wants to look at consistent growth. Uh, just being an entrepreneur certainly does not mean that you run with every wild idea. That is a sure uh, direction of disaster. But having a few successes and then building upon that by looking inwards, what made you succeed and how do you really look at adding strength to strength, only that will make a more profound success to be sustainable. So that's it.
Yes. So many times it would have happened that you might have also undergone some struggle or some crisis. What is that you feel, that loneliness you might feel at that point of crisis, or what is your actual experience at that moment?
So, of course, at that moment, it is lonely, desolate, and you feel you don't know what to do, where to go.
Yeah,
But when one looks back, one finds that finally things always change for the better. So, the one thing I've learned is never to get carried away by that one lonely moment. And every time such challenges even come up, even now, I go back to thinking when was the last time I had similar thoughts and what really happened. At the time when we were putting up our major project and we were about to come into production, and there was some leakage in one of the tubes. My technical person told me, it might be possible that the entire plant is internally corroded because water leak must have happened. And I felt that was the end of the world for me, because if that happens, I'm out for the next few years. Today, when I see it, yes, there was a challenge. Yes, it was limited, not as widespread as I had worried for. And at the end of the day, the struggle not only helped me to find a solution, but end of the day, I actually came out to be better
great.
because I planned much more and I was able to organize to do even better than what was originally planned. So every time I get into even today, you get into challenges, you feel now that's the end of the world. But again, when you remember yourself that when was it the last time that happened, and you realize somebody up there must be planning that you go through the fire, but end of the day you will come out more
More
stronger.
shining. Yeah,
So that's what is actually true.
great, great. This is the biggest takeaway we can get from this podcast, which even I will think. Many times even I fail. And at that time, as you said, I think કાલે બધું ખતમ થઈ ગયું છે. હવે મારું કાંઈ બાકી નથી. Nothing is left for me now.
Yes.
Everything. Actually, this happened just about 1 month ago. 1 month ago, it happened before starting this journey of wealth creation. I thought that everything is lost now. I don't know where to go, how to go. Nobody will support me, because generally what happens, as you said, people have never thought about Jain Muni talking about wealth. But modern generation who is coming to me, the highest questions asked by them are about wealth, because they are confused and they are insecure in falling into trap of somebody else. So they know that this Guruji has some knowledge, and he would guide us the better way or the right way. So that is why I came up with this structured knowledge about wealth with Jains. But when I was going to release this, there were so many immoral people who actually told me that you will be thrown out of the society if you talk about this. I said I am very pure, and I have no other intentions. It is only about guiding my upcoming generation, whom I am striving for. I'm working for them. And if I don't do, who will do? I gave them one more example. See, suppose if this topic was banned, then wealth would have been burnt every year, like Ravana is burnt every year. Wealth is respected in the name of Lakshmi Pujan. It is not named Tadka or Putana, it is named
Yes.
Lakshmi Mata, and it is being worshipped by everyone.
Yes.
Even our gurus, they do Shri Yantra Puja, they help people on Deepavali, and we conduct so many rituals and japs and everything. So, this is a very great thing. And my Guruji used to tell, money should go in good people's hands. Because if good people don't earn money, if real people don't earn money, bad people are
Society will
going
not benefit.
bad people are going to take that, and they will misuse it. It is good that wealthy people, good people earn more wealth and make the society stable. This was what he used to say, and that is why I created this project. And 1 month ago, it was the same. I felt that everything is gone from my hands. And I started blaming one person. It happened because of you. This is it was just for a moment. But the very next moment, Guruji's blessings came. And as you said, think, when did I think the same thought previously? And really, I'm telling you, it happened with me the same. I started thinking that when this previous thought came in my mind, it was like about 10 years ago when my Guruji expired 10 years ago. He expired because of kidney failure. And that time also, I thought the same thing. My world is lost. Everything is over. Now nothing is there for me. I again stood up from there. I came to one point. After my Guruji expired, I completed my 2 PhDs.
Wow.
And actually, I contributed in past 10 years. I got a very good way to help the society. And now I'm over here. Again, 1 month ago, I found that everything is lost. But I remembered those days and I started again. I came here over here, Baroda, and Ajay ji and all the entrepreneurs.
Yes. So some of these, I would say, principles in life are things that are applicable to anybody and everybody,
Absolutely.
not just for an example. And talking about wealth, we do a lot of social work where we take care of reducing infant mortality, maternal mortality. We look at ensuring that in Anganwadis children are taken
Right.
care of, hospitals are there. But above all, one of the things that we've realized that to a good extent, it is poverty that leads people not to pay attention to some of these other things. And therefore, one amongst the other projects that we have been taking is how to improve the quality of life for people, how to make other people learn how to make money. One of our big programs has been to work to see how the women folk can earn their own money, because we find that if they earn and they save, they spend much more on the children. And when they become independent because of financially being taking care of themselves, they can much more do good for their family and the society. So money and wealth is certainly good and needed, but at the same time, as you are rightly doing, you are accepting that that is a important part of the society. At the end of the day, beyond generating wealth, the idea is to really see what really helps that to grow better. And one of the things that we see in Jainism or Jain people is that the more the wealth you make and the more the wealth you distribute, the more the wealth grows.
Absolutely.
Most of the Jains have grown because as they grew rich, they got in more and more of their family members, distant relatives, but again become a part of the business. And the whole community started growing.
Right.
So, this way, as the community grew, this group became stronger and stronger.
Stronger.
Whether it is jewelry, whether it is diamonds, and we just mentioned plastics and polymers, you find Jains doing so well. One reason because they have learned how to partner with people, like-minded people, and grow. So
Yes.
perhaps that
Yes.
is also
Yes.
a
Yes.
view about Jainism.
I would like to expand this again from your experience. I've seen this past 40 years. Past 40 years, this has happened that only one becomes successful. He partners everyone surrounding whom he knows, whether be it from family, whether be it neighborhood also. They bring them in the business, and then slowly, because of that trust and bonding, the it grows exponentially. It does not just grow, it grows exponentially. I had the same experience. There is one company named Sia Jewelers. They also
Yes.
did the same. Sia Jewelers, they also did the same. They brought people like, mostly, if I know, more than 400 people they got connected. They partnered with them gradually over the years. And everyone have already started their own business centers, and they are working very nicely parallel to them. So this is the biggest thing what happens in our community is we partner with everybody.
Yes.
So throw a little light on that.
I think if you ask me, I have not had that much of experience, but I've seen friends who ended up uh, getting more and more partners and then creating a competitive landscape which was extremely difficult for others to really coming in. Creating value chains up forward and backward in the chemical industry, for example. And together they succeeded very well. Of course, it requires a lot of management of a relationship, which is in a way not required or very easy when you are trying to do on your own. You don't have to really learn to understand how to manage being even first amongst equals because you think you are the only one.
Right.
But if one is able to go through that learning experience, one is able to create that sort of a discipline when a group of people are working together, then that becomes one of the most formidable force which an individual cannot really succeed. So, I mean, it requires a lot of development work on the way. You have to have some like-mindedness and consistency of purpose of all the people who join in. But if do succeed, if they does succeed, it will be something that will make it really long-term enduring.
Yes. So actually, basically, see, people are failing in team building. People are failing in team building. They are able to collect money, but they are not able to collect those efficient partners, as you said. It is not about the hierarchy in a team.
Yes,
It is about partnering in a team.
that's right.
This is what you are actually saying.
That's
That it is not hierarchy in the team, that who are the downlanes and who is working for whom. No, it's not that. It is how you partner their skills, how you bring in their values, and then how you create the whole circle.
yes,
Absolutely. Great, great. This is the another takeaway from today's podcast. Whenever you go for a team building, don't maintain the hierarchy. Instead of maintaining hierarchy in team building, start partnering with their values, and you will find the exponential growth. Superb,
Absolutely.
superb. This was the second takeaway. Now, going forward more, like there is one thing, that is allocation of money. When the money comes, when it starts flowing in, people have trust on you. And when it starts flowing in, at that time, one thing, what happens, the most difficult thing is, if you have not thought previously that when this will come, where will I allocate, you fail in turning up with wrong directions. How to deal with that?
So in good old days, maybe a generation or two before me, people used to do something like this, sir, that whatever they earn, they would have like a one fourth, one fourth, one fourth, one fourth. One fourth would be invested back into the business. One fourth they would take in uh, and put it into some other investment. One fourth would be into gold, jewelry, which is much more long term enduring, and some is spent for the upbringing of the family. Things have changed, and one perhaps in these days one doesn't look at it this way. But at the same time, it is very prudent to ensure that after once you succeed, you start bringing in a certain sense of discipline, a discipline where you ensure that whatever loans you take, the debt to equity ratios, the earning ratios that must be maintained, are some of the things that are getting to become more and more critical as you move on. Uh, Perhaps, in a way, one of the best ways of wealth creation that I have learned is when we converted a private company into a public company, and uh, much more than just the earnings, the valuation that it got because it was in the stock market, and because people saw that you are constantly bringing them profits and growth, that they were much more than willing to put in money. And therefore, what would have been just a company with say 5 times or 10 times multiples, we were suddenly getting 50 times multiples.
Right.
So the value, the earnings may have been the same, but suddenly I was wealthier than what I was in the previous private environment. When you start achieving such type of wealth, all the more you need to ensure that there is prudence, at the same time growth taking place.
Yes.
And just pursuing growth could be very, very dangerous. And just remaining very, very secure will not allow the entrepreneurship to grow. So it's a tight rope walking. We need to see on both the sides. At the most important thing is that just because we have succeeded once, because we took a risk, that does not give us a license to keep on taking risk
Superb.
without believing that we can always be successful.
Superb.
So that prudence, the financial judgments, respect for some of these things has to be happening as we grow.
Great. So, what kind of allocation means when you got suddenly a raise of 10 times what you had thought? So, how you had actually prepared your mind of allocation of that incoming wealth?
At the end of the day, as I said, I would not put all that money back into the business where I've succeeded. But next time I would put something like maybe 50% of it. Third time I would put again 50% of that. And the remaining I would either put it in some things which uh, not necessarily that I control. At one time, the idea was okay to invest part of the earnings into other wealth creators, because this is the way you distribute the risk.
Right.
As one would say, it's not that every time you would succeed. And when you were distributing some part, you are letting somebody else's ability to earn also help you. And of course, one also then at that period of time starts thinking about long term. ensuring that you have some percentage which is a very long term investment, so that even when things go worse, in case they do, you have something to back up. And again, depends at what level you are. When my father began his career, for him even 50,000 rupees was great, right? So in 1960s, he took out insurance policies that when my children become old and when they have to get married, I must be able to get at least 1 lakh rupees for the
Right.
marriage.
Right.
Okay. Over the years, when that policy really materialized, 1 lakh was very small for us, but then there was
Those
a thought
values
at that time.
and those values and those principles,
Yeah.
they made us grow.
Yes.
Right. So one takeaway what I would like is, whenever we have our lunch or dinner, my Guruji used to generally say, how to have your lunch. You eat only that much amount of food. Even after finishing the lunch, you
Correct.
should be able to eat the same amount of the food, even after finishing the lunch. So I'll relate over here, as you said, that you should invest that much amount which you can actually again double risk you can take the next time also. So that is a 50%. 50% you reinvest and 50% you keep it in safe. Again 50% you reinvest and 50% you should keep it safe. So you should invest that much, that how much you can afford to again lose that much money. मतलब अगर if you have 1 CR, so if you can afford 50 lakh rupees to lose, you should have that 50 lakh. Nothing is going to happen to those 50 lakhs. Exactly. So 50-50 we should take the risk and 50-50 we should also protect and secure that.
Yes.
This is a very good principle of protecting and securing your money, which is for which you have not been prepared, for which you don't know what is going to be the future.
At the same time, I would also share that sometimes for the second generation, when there is already wealth with them, the wealth actually ends up making them less and less entrepreneurial because they are afraid of losing that wealth.
Right.
My father again used to be telling me that you people will not be as entrepreneurial, because for me, I began on the footpath, and even if I fall down, I can only fall down as much. So I would be able to take more risk. I'm not sure that that's exactly what happened with us, but yes, we are much more measured in the way we take our entrepreneurship. Uh, at the same time, I've known children who, because the parents were okay, well to do, they did not feel that sense of urge of earning. And here is where I feel that wealth is just a means and not the real worthy of life is purpose.
Right.
When you use
Absolutely.
purpose and therefore you use wealth to grow, the purpose drives you, not wealth.
Great, great. So, wealth should not be from weakness. If you have weakness in the wealth, this wealth is not going to help you. It should be with wisdom, with purpose. So, when purpose drives your wealth, then you are a successful person. Very great,
Yes.
very nice takeaway. Very nice takeaway. So now going towards the next step of the podcast, how uh, you got the legacy. You have built a legacy business, whatever you got from your father. So how you are experiencing now when you are flowing with the legacy and you are transferring this legacy to your next generation. Please share that experience.
So, of course, the way we got my children into the business was also to not give it on a platter that, okay, from tomorrow, you are sons of a big company, so
राज्याभिषेक
you
नहीं
can.
है.
Nahi. They have to learn, they have to really go through challenges. I would help them take a few challenges, not only because tough times build people, But because I believe that they will learn much more from their own success than what I can teach them.
Superb.
And it is this everyday small successes that really make the personality you are. A lot of times in life we say, okay, I want one big goal, but then between that big goal and today there's such a huge difference, huge gap. So I would urge my children to keep on looking at converting that big goal onto what therefore is there for this month, what therefore is for this week, what therefore is today, and then try and say, okay, can you get the habit of succeeding even in small goals? That habit will start making you inspired and getting to pursue bigger goals. But if you pursue big goals, there are going to be chances when it just doesn't happen, when it takes a longer time, and you start feeling, are you on the wrong, have you taken the wrong goal? So it's pursuing with large number of small goals and succeeding that actually makes you big. Finally, as children grow up, we start realizing that we must now treat them as partners
Oh,
and not as children,
great.
right? And we ought to give in to allowing them to take their own space. So these are things we all
Yes.
grow through this process.
Great, great,
So
great.
let's
Great.
look forward.
Yes. So, one thing what I found in this transferring your legacy is not only teaching them things, but the way have you experienced in your life, allowing them to gather their experiences, because experiences lead you to decisions, teachings lead you to some choices, but experiences lead you to some decisions. Very nice, very nice. So, one thing what I was feeling in my mind is that generally Jains have a very soft heart. They always feel a soft corner for their society and for other people, everybody. But when they come in entrepreneurship, at that time, that soft corner is aside. People think that these people are shrewd. Jain entrepreneurs, while making deals, people think that these people are shrewd. Generally, people feel that. But what I have found in this process is you are not shrewd. You are asking the value what it deserves. So, what is difference between that value, deserving value, and shrewdness? What people are not able to understand.
When that shrewdness ends up with only you becoming rich, that could become, one could call as cunningness.
Yes,
When that shrewdness helps you to uh, not only you becoming rich, but in the process you creating a value for the society, that's when you would say that that is shrewdness, and that is something that one should be encouraging. uh, at the end of the day, this shrewdness is important not only for the personal business that you do, but even the way you treat your life. As I said, if I were to work with my children and not be demanding, I am not using my shrewdness.
yes,
And in the process, my children would never really become tough. It is the desire that, okay, at the end of the day, I want them to become good and capable, that I use my shrewdness to see what can be done. I believe that is one. And at the end of the day, you know, you always feel that there is a larger purpose for which you are doing, which actually drives you. Shrewdness comes from that instinct of also self preservation, that you don't want to fail, you want to prove in life. Uh, at the end of the day, it will certainly make you much more responsible to the society.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Superb,
So
superb, very nice. So one more thing. Generally, what people think that being Jain means doing some rituals and asking wealth from God, like many other people do, like doing Sri Yantra Puja and then asking for the wealth. But I have seen in most of the Jains, they don't do rituals to accumulate wealth. They follow some rituals to become the receptacle of the wealth. Means वो ये नहीं पूछते हैं कि मुझे पैसे वाला बनाना, वो ये पूछते हैं कि इस पैसे को मैं डाइजेस्ट कर सकूं, ऐसा मुझे पहले डाइजेस्टेबल बनाना, फिर मुझे पैसा देना. इज इट राइट?
I believe that when you are only looking at God to help you and pray and make you rich, you are not focusing on yourself.
ट्रू.
And maybe in Jainism, the theory of karma and the theory of the belief that you make your own destiny. It's your creation, it's your efforts, it's your inspired thought that makes a difference. That is what, at the end of the day, he only asks God to be with him, to always give him the right thoughts, the positive thoughts. Relatively, in Jainism, we believe less in the fact that God will come and put a
डू सम
wand and
चमत्कार.
suddenly do that.
मैजिक
Right?
वॉन्ड.
So, that belief, in fact, I also believe one thing, that God is what you would love to make yourself be, is the image that you are wanting to see in God as the ultimate perfectionist. So when you pray God, actually you are constantly reminding yourself of the perfectionist that you want to be. Somebody who would love any and every life. Somebody who would want to see future good for everybody. And if that is the perfectionist that you are pursuing, you call it God, but that constantly inspires you to be more and more like that perfectionist. So I feel that is Jainism.
That is central idea.
Yes.
That is the central idea, to focus on yourself
Yes.
rather than focusing on some
Or
magical.
focus on the virtues.
Yes,
That-
focus on the virtues rather than focusing on some magic things happening with you.
Yes.
So, yes, my
And
Guruji,
sorry, and one thing is also this: when you focus on the right thoughts, they actually happen.
they actually happen.
Then you may call it is God's gift, but because it's the right thoughts.
Great, great, great to
So-
have your superb wisdom. Now, moving to the next part, the last part is about contribution, dan. Jains are contributing so much all the time, but people misunderstand this as a show off. People misunderstand this as a show off, that these people are feeling so much proud. They are taking their pride, and as if they are just showing off, boasting off that we are doing this, we are doing this, we are doing this. But the reality is what I feel when I met so many entrepreneurs and people giving donations. There are 2 3 kinds of such people. First is a group of people who work in such institutions of allowing people their wealth, allowing the benefits. So such people working in such institutions, they have to face a lot of rejections. Everybody does not donate these institutions. They have to face a lot of rejections. But they have one thought in their mind: whenever it will come, we will try to benefit the people. When you're accepting the rejection for yourself, it is digestible. But when you are working for people and then you have to face rejections, it is said in Hindi, कर भला तो पकड़ गला. किसी का अच्छा करने जा रहे हैं और हमारा गला पकड़ते. That becomes very
More painful.
very painful. Very painful. And then people like think that યાર ગામની માટે કરું છું, મારા હાર્ટ પ્રેશર, મારા બ્લડ પ્રેશર વધી જાય છે, કોના માટે કરવાનું, why should I do this? They stop socializing themselves, many of them. And many of them I've seen, apart from these pains, they are always ready to do something better, something good for the society. And that is why we can see that so many Jain institutions working in so many different fields, coming from different parts of our commercial community, they bear this rejection. Definitely you also might have felt so many different, because you are in the process. So how to handle those rejections and how to handle those negativities coming from people?
So, first of all, I totally agree with you that one of the distinctive factors of Jains is that desire to do something for the society.
Yes.
They want to give to the society. Maybe somewhere deep down in the culture, it is we have grown with a belief that we must do something good for the society. And therefore, every Jain, as he becomes wealthy, he wants to demonstrate that by giving back to the society.
Yes.
So, this is something that is unique. To a certain degree, for a lot of good purposes, there could be a situation in which people are like the goodness is being auctioned, for example.
Yes, absolutely.
People do talk about it that, okay, who will be wanting to contribute more, let that happen. To a certain degree, maybe it's a part of the society and it actually drives people, maybe even for a show, to contribute to the society. At the end of the day, the issue is that even if it begins that way, finally, if it ends in a way in which a person says that I would love to keep on contributing, even if it means that my name is not coming on the
Yes.
list
in
of
public.
contributors. Yeah. Because that is one way of like people should wonder that who is the person behind doing such a good job.
Yeah, such a noble.
Right?
Yes.
I used to be saying that when my dad expired and we were talking about him, he even the foundations that he created, he did not create in his name. And I would say કે તમે તો દાનનું પણ માનનું પણ દાન આપી દીધું.
Superb. Great.
That you don't want even that name that you donated.
So you donated your donation and you donated your ego and pride too.
Exactly. So having said that, for the person who is the donee, I would believe that if this again the sense of purpose is that I'm doing it for the society, and you keep on remembering that, then the strength comes automatically from that it doesn't matter even if at times I face rejections, because I have given my life to the purpose. And if the purpose requires this sort of an accepting the rejection,
Superb.
so be it.
Superb.
So
Great.
the purpose will drive them.
Great. What an exponential answer. Superb. This blew up my mind, that when you are doing for the society, and if that work needs this kind of sacrifice, if that result needs this kind of sacrifice of yours, the purpose will drive towards that result. Whether it be you sacrificing your name or your pride or your ego. And this is what Jains are doing past 2,500 years. And that is why I've seen that people have grown, not only grown, but helped the society to grow past so many years. Great. This was a wonderful light. This was a wonderful light which our society actually needs at this moment of time. It needs it. It needs it. I've seen many times that when no one is ready to help anybody, Jains come. There was a situation, I suppose in 2009. A moment came where there were floods in Bihar, and nobody was ready to help Biharis, because at that time they were known as the city of goons or the place of stealers, thefts.
Yeah.
So nobody was ready to help them. But a moment came when our Gurujis collectively came together that this is the place of our Bhagwan Mahavir,
Yes.
and it is calling us. And actually the youths went over there and helped. And after that money went in Bihar, I can see past 20 years, almost 20 years, it has happened to that incident, and Bihar has grown. Bihar is flourishing. Rajguru he flourished, and all the areas flourished. When good money goes, good things
Exactly
happen.
things. Yes.
Good things happen. Do you believe in this?
Good money is like seed.
Yeah,
You're actually planting a seed of happiness. It has to grow.
it has to grow. So I would like my audience to do this. If your money is pure, sow it everywhere, and purity will evolve. A
Yes, sir.
very great podcast today with you,
Thank you,
Deepak Bhai.
Guruji.
Please give some messages, last messages to the people. Whatever you had come before the podcast, whatever thoughts you had, please something for our community.
Growing rich, growing wealthy, I believe is something that every human being would want to yearn for. And in a sense, sir, you taking this also as a means of sharing and teaching young people is something really very novel and interesting. The issue is that beyond growing rich and growing wealthy, staying rich, staying wealthy, and doing something which finally gives you the happiness, that is really what counts in life. At this age, I would say, at a young age, you are just in the pursuit of being rich and being wealthy. But sooner than later, it's good for all of us to realize that the real pursuit should be pursuit for happiness. And that too, not only physical happiness, but mental happiness. And somewhere along there comes to be maybe seemingly a conflict, because mental happiness also comes from contentedness,
Yes,
while pursuing wealth brings in a constant unfulfilled desire to grow. But somewhere is that golden means where finally you convert your growth to doing something because there is a sense of purpose and because you want to do something for the society. So I'm sure that you would move from personal growth to growth for the society sooner than later. Thank you, sir.
થેન્ક યુ. જય જિનેન્દ્ર, નમસ્કાર, પ્રણામ. અને आज आज आपने जो भी हमारी कम्युनिटी के लिए किया है, इसकी मैं सराहना करता हूँ, और बस आगे ये बढ़ते रहे, ऐसी मैं परमात्मा के चरणों में प्रार्थना करता हूँ. थैंक यू.
Thank you so much, sir.